Hello and welcome to your second guitar lesson. Today I'm gonna help you decide which guitar you should buy, because that's a decision that can make or break your guitar future. And I'm gonna teach you two songs. I'm gonna talk about why later on, and I'm gonna follow up on consistency from the first video to try to make it easier for you to build consistency and make your whole guitar journey so much more easier. That's the point of this whole series. Let's start with the first song, which is a bit silly, and this is the reason why I have two songs, because the first one is a bit silly, the second one I don't like. But they're both very good for your guitar development, and chances are that you will like one or the other. So if you don't like this, you can do the other one. This is the first one. So, really simply, I will have tab here. You might not know how to read tab. No problem. The names of the strings: E, B, G, D, A, E, from thin to thick. E, B, G, D, A, E. If you want to remember this, you can go the other way and say Eddie ate dynamite, goodbye, Eddie. So, Eddie ate dynamite, goodbye, Eddie. And we start with the fourth string, the D string, open, third fret on the A string, second fret on the A string, open A string, open E string, third fret on the E string, second fret on the A string, and open A string. Slowly. If you want to play along, 1, 2, 3, 4. And so on. Yes, that was You Can't Touch This by MC Hammer, originally Super Freak by, I forget his name, Rick James, something like that. So, which guitar should you buy? This is an acoustic guitar, and this is an electric guitar. There are, of course, different options, both in the electric and acoustic camp. You have nylon string acoustics, steel string acoustics, all sorts of different electric guitars. Back when I was a kid, my parents thought it would be a good idea to get me a guitar so that I could try my hand at playing this instrument. My grandparents thought that was a great idea and offered to buy me a classical guitar. My dad, being smart and knowing how I was, said, no way, he will not play classical guitar. Not because my parents had anything against classical guitar, but because I was more into the whole rock and roll kind of thing. Heavy metal. Heavy metal. And they bought me an East German lead star and some kind of amp. An Aria amp, I think it was. The amp was hideous, but it made noise. I could do dive bombs with the whammy bar. Just go like... That was all that I knew how to do. But gradually I started learning, and the key element was, for me, that it was an electric guitar. I would probably have quit on an acoustic. So think about the music that you want to play and get yourself a guitar that's appropriate for that. What do the people that you admire, what do they play? So if you admire someone like Jimi Hendrix, maybe you should get a Jimi Hendrix style guitar, a Stratocaster of some kind, possibly. If you like Slash, get a Les Paul type guitar. If you admire classical guitarists, get yourself a nylon string classical guitar. It's really that simple. And it doesn't have to cost a lot. there are a whole bunch of great cheap guitars out there. I'll link a video in the description from my main channel with some electric guitar suggestions. Okay, so that's really it. Get yourself the guitar appropriate for your preferred style of music. Now, that's not always possible. Sometimes you end up with a classical guitar regardless, but you can still practice on that. And you can practice this second song. So the first one was a bit silly. This second one, let me check that I'm in tune. This second one I seriously dislike. So it's second fret on the D string, 2 times, G string open, second fret D string, open D string, third fret on the A string, and second fret on the A string. Slowly, again, if you want to play along. 1, 2, 3, 5. Now, 2 things. One about both songs and the second one about just this song. Start with just this song. There's a variation here that they play, which goes like this. Occasionally. I'm not going to explain that to you. The reason is I want you to work a bit. It shouldn't be too easy. Or any teacher shouldn't just hand everything over on a gold plate. Because if you get used to actually working a bit, using your ears to figure out what went on there, that will be hugely beneficial to you. And regardless, if you don't want to spend the energy doing that, you can just look up the tab online or how someone else who explains it. But then you're being a bit lazy in the wrong way. It's good to be lazy when you're playing. You should conserve energy. But this, improving your ear, should start really as soon as possible. Listen actively to music and so on. The second thing, the thing about both songs, is that they're not played like this. I'll do the first one. Or the second one. Can you spot what I'm doing, quote unquote, wrong here? There are no pauses between the notes. It's or. So there are pauses in between the notes. In music, what you don't play is equally as important as what you play, and notes, silences between notes, are by definition things that you don't play. So the third topic of this video is how to make consistency easier, because in the first video I talked about the importance of being consistent with your practice, because that compounds and you learn so much faster that way. 15 minutes a day beats 5 hours on a Saturday, even though it's less time. Absolutely works. Now, how do you build consistency? Well, by saving energy, making it into a habit, because habits are really our way to save energy. When you walk into a dark room at home, you don't think about, oh, what do I do now? You habitually go for the light switch, which you know is, for instance, there on your right hand side. You don't have to go around searching for it or think about, where was it again? You do it automatically. And when you build a habit, it makes consistency so much easier. You have good habits and you have bad habits. Quickly do both. If you have the guitar in a stand Or if you have the guitar in a gig bag under the bed, which is more likely that it will make you play? Well, in the stand, of course, because it's in sight. If it's under the bed, it's out of sight, out of mind. So keep your gear ready to go. That's one way to ensure that playing becomes easier to start. A second thing is, don't be vague about when you're going to play. Like, I'm going to practice guitar 15 minutes today, versus I'm going to practice guitar 15 minutes after breakfast in my room. That is concrete, much more difficult to start procrastinating. For me, I play guitar 15 minutes after breakfast in the kitchen, because I have an amp in the kitchen. My kids, if it's the weekend, they usually watch television, and the living room will just be useless for me to try to play in. It can be wherever, whenever, just make it concrete. You can also try rewarding yourself after you've played with something, a treat, I don't know, whatever. And then you have these bad habits, like the telephone. I heard a story of a guy who wanted to watch less television, so he unplugged the TV to make it more difficult for him, and that didn't work. So he, instead of just unplugging the TV, he actually took the whole TV and lifted it into a closet. So it would be really difficult for him to just start watching TV. And it worked. Same thing with your phone. You should have your phone, if you're finding it distracting, if you procrastinate by watching zombie scrolling, just put it in a cupboard so that it's out of sight, out of mind. Maybe install an app that asks you, do you really want to start scrolling? So make the guitar playing as easy as possible, so you don't have to get it out of a case and all that. Make it in sight, make it concrete when you're going to play, and just do short periods in the beginning. I've talked about 15 minutes. I think you can do 15 minutes. If you can't, do 10. If that's too hard, to do 5 and build up the habit. If you've played for a month or two for 15 minutes a day, every day, you can have a rest day on Sunday, for instance, whenever suits you. A rest day can be beneficial. But if you've done it for a month or two, 15 minutes a day, most days, and it's still really hard and it's a slog and you're not seeing any progress, then maybe it's not for you. But I would say, give it a good month or two with proper actual practice, 15 minutes a day, consistently. And I'm absolutely certain you will see results. It's like going to the gym. I don't know how big the results will be, but if you go to the gym for 5 hours, you will end up sore with nothing to show for your effort, except maybe an injury. But if you go to the gym 15 minutes a day, you will start seeing results. I don't know when, but you will start seeing them. So start building up those habits. Practice the 2 songs from this video and the one from the previous video, Peter Gunn theme. If you like this video, feel free to support the channel. There's a link in the description where you can buy me a coffee, or you can buy me a super thanks on this. I don't know if this channel is monetized, but if it is, you can buy me a super thanks here. Other than that, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you have some use of it, and hope to see you in another one. Take care. See you. Goodbye.